I'm like you, Phil. I'm becoming an OG now,
You,
man.
no doubt.
I've been in ministry, man, since the '90s now, and I've been at Crossover this month in January. We'll be celebrating 27 years that I've been at the same spot, bro.
Man.
So yeah, man. I came there fresh out of Bible college, man, when I was just a young buck. I'm from Philly. My wife is from New York City. We met at Southeastern in Florida. We thought we were going to go back up north and do urban ministry there, but God didn't open up any doors, and He sent us to Tampa to this little church that had just started a few years before that. They never had a youth ministry, and so I founded the youth ministry in '96. And
96.
I met you shortly after that.
Yeah.
We were both in the youth ministry space, and using hip hop as a tool, and me also being an MC. I kind of joke around like Paul. He made tents, to support his ministry. He was
Right.
a tent maker. Me, I was a rapper.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I still rap a little bit, but
Yep.
that's really what provided for my family. That was my entrepreneurial hustle. And I love doing it. It connected with the youth ministry and everything we were doing. But in '99, I got signed actually. I put 2 independent albums out. Then I got signed to a label in '99, 7th Street
Huh.
Records. That was the same label that signed the Cross Movement.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so we were
7th
label
Street.
mates. Yeah, we were label mates for a couple years, and as I was doing that, the youth ministry was growing. We were, using like yourself, bro, using music. We're doing a lot of
Right.
concerts, and then also using sports. And we did some basketball leagues, and then we kids that played in the leagues would get a free pair of Nikes at the end, and
Woo.
so that was the hook. Plugged in and involved. We got corporate sponsors to pay for that. And then we had a big ceremony on Sunday at service. They had to come to service to get their Nikes.
Oh, I love it.
We
I
fed
love it.
their families afterwards, had a lunch, and got to connect and build with them. We got families in the church today that are still part of things
They still got them
because their
Nikes? They
kids
still got them Nikes though?
they got hooked in with their Nikes. Oh, them Nikes are long gone now. They done worn them out. But you know, anyways, man, yeah. And then in 2002, the youth ministry grew, where we outpaced the adult congregation by like 5x,
Yeah.
6x.
Wow.
And then the church leadership was pushing me to step in and be the pastor. They've been asking me for a few years. I kept being like, nah, I'm still in my 20s. I'm rapping. I'm good. I'm doing the youth ministry. I don't have time for all that.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the guy in charge. You know, Jonathan, we might have been running a little bit from that lead role.
Yeah.
Def-
But 21 years ago, beginning of 2002, I stepped into that role. And my posture at first was I'll fill in till we find the next guy. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause the other guy basically he stepped down. He was on sabbatical towards the end. I kind of took over. I'm like, I could keep doing this for a little while until we find somebody. And a few months into it, I was like, I think we found him. It's me.
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
But the greatest asset we had, bro, we didn't have a lot of money. We didn't have a lot of resources. We didn't have a lot of adults. We had a ton of teenagers, but there was only about 40 adults there, and most of them were younger than me. I was 28 at the time. But the biggest asset we had was freedom. We had freedom to reshape and recreate what the urban multi-ethnic church could look like to reach unchurched and dechurched people. So we carefully and prayerfully, like one of the first things we did was we built a DJ booth. We're
Mm.
like, because that was our main instrument. We didn't have a band, we had a DJ, and that was how we did worship with beats, over instrumentals. Then we did a big graffiti mural on the back wall of our stage. They didn't have LED screens and stuff back then. We couldn't afford
Right.
it anyways. But so we just put a big piece there. We put some graffiti on the sign, and we had our vans all tagged up, and so and then we just, we put some TV screens up. We did that.
Right.
We had hip hop all incorporated into our youth service and young adult service on Thursdays. But we're like, we even had questions like, is it okay if we have a rapper every Sunday?
Yeah.
Is it okay if we have a DJ for our maintenance? We ain't got no band.
Right.
And
Right.
we gotta do what we gotta do it, but is that okay? Like, is anybody
Right.
gonna show up that's older than
Right.
me? I'm 28. Like, I'm the
Right.
old guy.
Right.
But we started to see young families come, people that were in their 30s and even 40s, and bringing their teenagers and their kids.
Yeah.
That their kids were bringing their parents to church. And that first year, like we doubled in size. We went from 40 to 80,
Wow.
and that was the biggest the church had ever been on a Sunday attendance. We're growing and reaching people, and people coming to Jesus and getting discipled, and a lot of people walking into the church that didn't fit in the traditional church. They could come there and they could
Right.
wear their fitted. They could have their snapback. Back then it was fitteds, but they could come
Right.
tatted up or whatever, and wearing their sneakers, and nobody's gonna judge them. And there was just something really special that started to happen, and so it just started to take off. And you've been to the old
Yeah.
location, both of y'all,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
it could only seat 200 people. It was
Yeah, it
small
was
with the low
small.
ceiling.
Right.
It had that 8 Mile vibe when we took the chairs out. It was concerts. But so we soon had to do 2 services, and I was in my little urban box. I'm like, that's weird. I don't think that's gonna work. That's like 2 different
Yeah.
churches, but we did it, and man, like within a year, we filled up the second service, and we're like, we gotta start a third service. Like, holy
Wow.
crap! And then we built an overflow room in the back
I
that
remember
had
that.
like the patio
Yeah.
box with the
Yeah,
awning,
I
the
remember
ceiling
you built
fans
that.
up, and the screen, so we could seat like another 80 or 90 people back there. And we were just trying to be creative with that little space.
Yeah.
We built that big patio out front, and we were reaching 400 or 500 people every Sunday.
What was amazing was like the mystique around crossover. Like at least for those of us who were in like the already in the like Christian hip hop community,
Yeah,
like if you were like somebody who knew about Christian hip hop, crossover had this mystique about it. Like there's this church,
yeah.
right, down in Tampa that like they use hip hop in regular worship, and like and it was just like it was almost like a pilgrimage you had to take.
Right.
It's
Right.
like a
We regularly had people visiting us, and we still do to this day, because so many people come to Florida on vacation. So they like go to the beach, or they go to Orlando or whatever, and they're like, "Yo, I'm gonna go to Urban D's church while we're there."
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
And I mean,
yeah,
almost every Sunday, we still have people that come and visit us because they follow us online, or knew me from the music, or they got one of my books,
Yeah.
or heard me speak at an event or something.
yeah, yeah.
And it's super dope. And now that, of course, we stream, we have people that watch us regularly from all over. We hit the lid for a few years, and then we were dreaming big and crazy, and we took over a former retail box. It used to be a Toys R Us store, and we retrofitted 43,000 square feet, and we just celebrated 12 years being in that space.
Wow.
And it was the most difficult thing I ever did in my life. Really hard, really crazy, challenging financially, but super, super rewarding. And so we've seen thousands of people come to Jesus in the last 12 years, and we baptized now, what's the number? It's 1,692 people.